So a couple of days ago, one of my subscribers messaged me on one of my videos asking me could I make a video showing them how to install X and how to install KDE here on Gentoo. And I replied, yeah, I'll make a video about it. So that's what we're going to do today. Recently, I made a virtual machine of a Gentoo install, and I told you guys that we're going to be playing around in that virtual environment. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and fire up that virtual machine, and we're going to install KDE, and we're going to get X running on that virtual machine. And I'll show you guys the full process. It's pretty easy. And then, yeah, let's go ahead and jump into the video. I'll switch over to the desktop here. Okay, so the first thing I want to do before we fire up the virtual machine is I want to fire up Firefox. And I want to show you guys how easy it is to install any package, any kind of questions that you have regarding how to install something here on Gentoo. And if you don't know how to do it, or you're kind of scratching your head, just look up the wiki. It's super easy. So what I do is I just pull up a wiki, and then I'll say xorg Gentoo, right? And right here, the Gentoo wiki. And there's a guide right here showing you exactly how to install xorg here on Gentoo. Pretty easy. Now, this stuff is the kernel support stuff. We don't really have to pay attention to this because we're using a distribution kernel. But it does tell you right here that in your make configuration that you need to have the use X, okay? And then we also need to set up some variables in our make configuration for our video card as well as our input device, okay? So it gives you an example right here exactly how to do this. So for mouse and keyboard, regular mouse and keyboard, all you need is live input. If you're on a laptop, you might want Synaptics. And then for video cards, this is where it's different. If you're on an Intel video card, this would say video cards Intel. If you're on a AMD card, it would say Radeon. And if you're on an NVIDIA card, then it would say NVIDIA, unless you wanted to use the open source video driver. And that's kind of what they're using in this example right here. But other than that, everything is pretty easy, pretty self-explanatory. I will show you guys all of this. Now, one thing that the wiki does not kind of cover, though, is something called elog nd. I think I'm pronouncing that right. But you need this package. And the guide doesn't really tell you about this. But you do need this package. It's a standalone package. It's a systemd project. But it looks like if you're using systemd, then you may not need this. Now, if you're on OpenRC, then you will need this. Now, I have this package installed here on my base system. Because on my base system, I am using OpenRC, and in that virtual machine, we're going to be using systemd. So I don't know if I actually need to install this, but we'll, figure it out as we go. But it does show you how to install it, and then you need to start the service right here if you're on OpenRC. So with all that being said, let's go ahead and let me flip over to another workspace here, and let's pull up virtual machine. Okay. Let me get this going. Let me move this over here, and then I'm going to full screen this, and as soon as I log in, I will try and fix the fonts for you guys, if we can do that. probably can't do that because I'm in a terminal. But first thing that we need to do, of course, is we need to vim into that etc make portage.make configuration file. Okay, and remember how I said we need to set those variables for our video cards? Well, so it's input devices equals and then lib input. Okay, and then the other one is video underscore cards. Now, since I'm in a virtual machine, I may need to think about this for a minute. I'm going to have to check and see what my virtual machine video card is, because I can't quite remember. I think it's VirtIO. I think that's the one. I'm not 100% sure. I may have to fix this, but there's another one I can use as well as QXL. If you need multiple video cards installed, then you can just separate it by a space. And then in our use flag here, I'm gonna uncomment. I mean, I'm gonna make it where KDE will be a package that we want to install, as well as Qt5. I just did that originally for the install process. Okay, so now that's written. Now we can emerge xorg session. And it's not that, it's EIX. I don't even have EIX installed. Let me get out of this virtual machine here, because I forgot the package. Alright. So it's going to be emerge x11 base xorg session. I can type. No, xorg server. I'm sorry. Alright. So we are going to get some stuff that says, hey, you know, we need specific use flags with certain packages. That's well and good. I'm trying to full screen here for you guys, so you guys can see this a little bit better. So we can see that media libs, libg, it needs X, so we need to echo this super fast. The way we do that, I've showed you guys this before. Media libs libg b nd 1.6.0 x etc portage package.use, and then we'll say libg lv nd. Okay. I thought I did that. libg lv nd. Alright, so I fixed that package. I guess I just mistyped something at the very beginning, but I fixed it, and we're going to emerge X. Okay, this may take a little while. It's got to merge like 54 packages, so I'm going to pause the video, and then I will bring you guys back as soon as X gets done. Alright, so X just got done installing. The next package that we need to make sure that we have installed is Xterm, because by default Xterm does not install. Okay, and Xterm is used by multiple default programs here on X. it's always a wise idea to install Xterm, even if you do not have a KDE or a desktop environment or a window manager installed. X actually has a default, I think it's a window manager that comes with X. However, you need Xterm installed in order to use it. So we're going to install Xterm, and then after Xterm gets done installing, we need to create our user real fast, because I do not like to start X as root user. We do not have a user in this virtual machine. If you remember correctly, I didn't set one up. So I'm going to let Xterm finish installing here. It shouldn't take that long. It's just installing some fonts. And then after we set up a user and everything like that, I will show you how to install KDE. And KDE shouldn't take that long to install, as long as everything else is working properly. Xterm is now installed. Now let's see if I can start X as root, because I'm not 100% sure this is going to work, just because I'm in a virtual machine and there could be video driver stuff conflicts. But it looks like it did actually work here, so I guessed right on my video card driver. If you're doing this on bare metal, it's the same exact process, but you won't have to do a lot of guesswork, simply because either you have an Intel card, AMD card, or a NVIDIA card. So X works. We got that working. Let's go ahead and set up our user. That way we don't have to log in as root. So I'm going to use the user add command, and I'm going to do a help because I'm not 100% sure how to use this command. So user add, and then I'm going to do that butter fs sub volume home, because we do have a butter fs set up. Okay, and then we're going to do a -G for groups, and I'm going to do wheel, audio, and video. Okay, you need video to be in the video group in order to run X. So if you make a normal user, make sure that you are in the video group. Okay, and then I'm going to do -M to create a home, and then I'm going to do -S in bin bash, and then I'm going to type in my name, Chris, as my user, and then okay, so it did make a my sub volume. Okay, and then I'm gonna give my user Chris a password here. Okay, and then next thing is to install KDE, and the way that we install KDE is, first thing, we can set our profile. So we can do eSelect profile list, okay, and we can find the systemd desktop plasma profile, which, if I'm looking at this correctly, it is number 10 on the on my list. So we can do eSelect profile set 10, okay, and now we may need to do an update. Okay, so emerge, update, deep, new use at world. See if anything that needs to be updated here. And we have some dependency stuff. So I can do echo, media, sound, MPG1, media, sound, MPG 123, 1.31.3, and then pulse audio etc portage package.use mpg 123. See if that fixed one of those dependency errors. It should have. Media lib sound file 1.20, and I will say minimal portage package.use lib sound file. Now let's try it. Okay. Now what it's going to do, since what we actually did with that eSelect profile set, what we did is we told Gentoo that we want this profile, and it's going to pull in everything, every single thing for KDE. Now, that's the easy way to do it, okay? Another way you could do it, okay, is there's actually a meta package that you can use. So if we do EIX KDE, and then we can do a quick grep for, I think there's a meta package. It's a meta package core. Is it Plasma Meta? EIX Plasma. It might be Plasma Meta. Grep Meta. Yes. So there is a Plasma Meta package as well that you can go ahead and just install, and it will pull in KDE as well. However, we're not going to do that. I'm just going to update the world, and it's going to automatically see that we want KDE because we're using the KDE profile, and it's going to pull in everything, which makes it a whole lot easier than during this, doing this by hand, because KDE is a very big program, and if some of these packages are masked, or some of these packages need certain use flags, then it can be a pain. It can kind of be a pain in the butt to get set up. So this is pretty much the quicker way that you can do it. And the nice thing about doing it like this is that you know that every single thing with KDE will get pulled in. Now, as you can also see, that was 200 and something packages. This is going to take quite a while. It's 226 packages, so I'm going to pause the video because I don't think you guys want to see everything just sit here and compile, and then I'll bring you guys back after KDE gets done compiling, and then we'll log into KDE, and yeah, it'll be done. Okay, we just updated world, and the next step that we need to do is we need to actually install Plasma. Now, a minute ago, I did mention that during the eSelect profile, set profile list, that would install Plasma. It does not actually install Plasma, but what it does is it pulls in a lot of dependencies that Plasma will need. This does kind of speed up the process a little bit. However, you still need to install the Plasma package. So the way we do this is we can do EIX, we can do Plasma, and then I'm going to grep meta to figure out the package name. And so the package name that we're going to be doing is the KDE Plasma /plasma meta package. So emerge, I'll do AV, and then KDE plasma meta. All right, and we'll see how many package this is going to pull in. It's 251 packages, but it should not take that long. Hopefully not as long as that that eSelect command worked, or that eSelect command earlier, because that was right around 255 packages. So I'm gonna let this install, and then when we come back, we should be able to log into KDE and everything should just work. Now that we have KDE actually installed, what we need to do now is log out. Okay, and we need to log in with our user that we created. Okay, and now we need to edit the xinit.rc file. And we can do execute dbus launch session. And I think it's exit with session. Let me pull up my notes just to verify here. No, it's dbus launch. Okay. So I do apologize about that. It's dbus launch. And then exit with session. And then we want to start Plasma X11. And you want to put this in your xinit RC if you're not using a display manager, which we're not using one on this virtual machine. So now we got that. We should be able to start X, and KDE should be able to fire up. And there's KDE. And we can set the display here. Set the resolution at least. So we can do 1920. I'll just do about 1080 here. We'll keep it. And that's KDE here on Gentoo. I hope this video helps the individual that wanted me to make this video. I know it's a little long and everything, and it is a tad bit confusing. If you do get confused, just leave me a message down below. I'll get back to you and help you walk through it. But all in all, if anytime that you want to install anything on Gentoo, and if you're confused or you're just you don't know exactly what to do, just look it up on Google, look at the wiki. The wiki, if you follow the wiki on most of these desktop environments, window managers, whatever, the wiki will tell you exactly how to install it and get it up and running. Okay, so if you guys have any more suggestions for any other videos that you would like for me to make, feel free to leave those down below and I'll see what I can do. But until next time, I want you guys to take care, be safe, and peace. Bye guys. Thanks for watching.